Welcome to another beautiful day right here. It is another time for us to talk sport on global television. It is another time for us to bring to your notice that it has been a time of war for referees because of corruption, as NFF declared war on the corrupt referees. And moving away from there, we'll also look at other things happening from the world of sport this beautiful day, and we'll also get to Europe to see what is happening if Osimhen is actually moving to Manchester United. But I'm not very sure about that because he may be staying back at Galatasaray, and that's going to be on a permanent deal, not on loan anymore. Then coming to own Afro basketball. Well, the Afro basketballers, they are doing very well, and of course, draws going on. Then we talk about the Flamingos too, and many other things happening from the world of sport this morning. I will also have my guest joining me as we talk sport this beautiful day. Stay connected as we bring you stories from around the world, beginning from the first story right here, which says NFF has declared war on corrupt referees. There is a threat right now that 10 years ban is going to be the repercussion, the penalty for corrupt referees. And that's a good one because we've had a lot of them messing up all the scene. The Nigerian Football Federation has launched a crackdown on referees who may be involved in match fixing as the country's football league reached a decisive stage. In an internal memo that was already been signed by the secretary of the Nigerian Football Federation Referee Development Committee, Mohammed Aminu, the federation won all referees in the Nigerian Premier Football League, Nigerian National League, and of course Nigerian Women's Football League, and of course the Nationwide League One, which kicked off on Wednesday to uphold fairness and project the reputation of the game. And of course NFL fears that the clubs, their agents, and even other football stakeholders may attempt to influence referees in order to gain an unfair advantage. In response, the federation has set up an independent monitoring committee to observe all matches and of course report any suspicious behavior that will be coming from the people. We will have our guest join us today as we talk sport. Yusuf Mendy is already standing by as he will be joining us via Zoom to talk sport this morning. Right after this break, we will continue talking sport, and I will take you straight to what is happening as Remo Star waits for Pila and Rivers clash in NPFL to actually know their title decision. We will return to continue with Talk Sport after this break. Stay with us. Welcome back to the State of Talk Sport on Global Television right here. Let me take you to what is happening right now for Remo Star. The league leaders, Remo Star, would be watching with keen interest as for time champions Kano Pillars host the second place Rivers United in the first match day 35 game in Kano, and that's going to be today. Well, as a matter of fact, that game is a game to watch out for. Remember, Remo Star are the one topping the group, and of course Kano Pillars, they are game today. You know, Kano Pillars is following Remo Stars back to back, and of course let's see what is going to be happening from there today. As a result of that game will actually determine how soon the title race in the 2024-25 Nigerian Premier Football League would end. As a matter of fact, Rivers United, they need at least a draw to actually keep their homes alive, while anything short of that will put Remo Stars on wheel taken away from their first ever NPFL title, man, that's going to be bad because Remo Star already are thinking they may be winning the title, but this game is going to be a decider of the title for Remo Stars because Kano Pillars are on top of their game and they are following them back to back. If anything happens today, they will take the lead. And of course, as a matter of fact, being led by ex-international and former Sharks stalwart Philly George, Rivers United are already in search of their second NPFL title. They've gotten one before, and this is the time for them to get the second one, just as their gaffer who won his first as a coach at Enyimba in 2023. I'm taking you back memory lane right now so that you can actually see how it is happening there. But that's notwithstanding, the Pride of Rivers have not been the most perfect of the challenger. If you ask me, that's my opinion. Because if you watch them this season, you know that they are not the most perfect challenger. So taking on Kano Pillars today is going to be a game to actually watch out for this season, and they would also have to dig deeper to actually stretch the title race further if they mean business. They currently trail Remo by 7 points with 4 matches to go. Well, let's see how that is going to happen. Remo Stars, will you guys be able to handle the title? Will you be able to take the title? Will you be able to win? And of course celebrate just the way Liverpool is waiting for the title right now. But then Kano Pillars are following back to back. So anything is actually possible today from that game. It's good to have you join us on TalkSport this morning, Mendy. Mendy will soon join us. He's trying to establish his chart. Nadozie is the one we want to talk about right here. We want to talk a little bit about what's happening in Nigeria because Charity Day Say begins at home. After now, we'll take you further to other things happening from the world of sports. Now, Nadozie's injury is raising some form of concern ahead of the WAFCON preparation. It's not a good one at all. Looking very gentle but very dangerous when it comes to the field of play. And as a matter of fact, Nadozie's injury raises fear ahead of WAFCON's Nigeria's preparation for the 2024 Women's African Cup of Nations have already been rocked with potentially serious injury to star goalkeeper Chiamaka Nadozie. Well, you know, if she's in between the stick, there is this confidence that comes from the players. But this injury, I don't know, but it's posing some form of threat. As a matter of fact, and just weeks before the tournament kicks off in Morocco, she's 24-year-old like we all know, and she's been forced off the field in the 79th minute of Paris FC dominance of 4-0 victory over Fleury 91 in the French Premier League after a heavy challenge from Ivorian forward in his corner. But then the incident which saw Nadozie stretch off in visible pain. If you watch that game, you can see that she was physically in pain. The pain was so much for her, and of course she couldn't do anything, but then she was stretched off the field only to get a yellow card by the referee. The person who actually did that only drew a yellow card from the referee, a decision that may raise eyebrow given the severity of that collision, because this is a goalkeeper we're talking about here. You need to avoid the goalkeeper by all means. Then why the collision? I think that deserves a red card. I'm not saying this because Nadozie is my home person. It's not because she's a Nigerian, but because we're talking about goalkeeper here. If you pass the defenders and then you come to the goalkeeper, you need to jump and you don't need to collide with the goalkeeper no matter what. But then this is female football we're talking about here. You know how it happened. But Nadozie is a standout performer for both club and country, has to be replaced by French shortstopper Ines Mekis following several minutes on field treatment. After the treatment, nothing happened, so she had to be stretched out. The full extent of her injuries yet to be reviewed by Paris FC. That's the club she actually he played for internationally, but the timing could not be more concerning for the Super Falcons, with the WAFCON tournament set to begin in July 5th. We're counting just days. Head coach Justin Madugu is now facing an uneasy wait as medical assessments determine whether one of his most influential player will be fit in time. Well, I don't want to miss Nadozie in that game at all, because her presence between the stick has been very, very crucial to Nigeria as the hope of reclaiming the continental crown. The last one in 2018 is beefing up. We really want them to win that continental crown again. The last time they won it was 2018, and coming down the line, this is 2025. So if they win it again, it's going to be a very good one for the team. But then, as a matter of fact, Nadozie, if she's in between the stick, the confidence, she's a goal stopper, and you know how players used to be scared of her if she's in between the stick. But then this injury, though we've not ascertained the level of the injury, but whatever happens, I think this injury needs to be treated and needs to be given full attention so that she can return back again to the field of play. We are waiting to be crowned again. Nigerians, we believe in them more than the other teams. But as a matter of fact, let's just keep our fingers crossed and see how all of that is going to end at the end of the day. But then the medical team have not really reviewed the severity of that injury, and that's given Nigerians a little hope. But we just wish that that injury is not too much, so she can return back and of course be part of that tournament in Morocco. Everyone will want to see Nadozie in between the sticks. I tell you the truth, everyone will want to see Chiamaka right there because she deserves to be there. And you know the confidence that the players have anytime they have a formidable goal stopper. All right, let's move away from there and hear what Taiwo is telling the Flying Eagles. As we all know, the former Super Eagles player Taiwo already has called on the current Flying Eagles squad to approach the 2025 Under-20 African Cup of Nations with what we call confidence and fearlessness. Everyone know who Taiwo is. Taiwo is one player that Nigerians were very proud of. Then some people say, well, his presence alone scare players. Well, that's on a lighter note because he is a very handsome player, as a matter of fact. And he is also urging the Flying Eagles not to take a no for an answer. They need to build confidence and they need to be fearless in that field, because if your opponent discover that you are fearless in any game, they know that these people are actually out for something. And what builds your fearlessness is your confidence and of course how you handle the game. Speaking in an interview of course with a media house, Taiwo, who was a key member of Nigeria's successful 2005 Under-20 team, had some words of advice for the current squad and of course share his thought on what it takes to succeed at such a time, because it's a prestigious tournament and Nigeria cannot take a no for an answer as the Aliyu Zubairu's boys prepare for the Under-20 AFCON campaign. Taiwo said he wants them to believe in themselves. That's very paramount. That's very important. You need to believe in yourself before you even get to the field of play, so that you can be formidable, you can be fearless and build that confidence for all the players, and they have to actually believe that they can achieve their goals, whether they are striker or the striker. It's a teamwork. The striker, the defender need to trust their ability and what they can do first of all before they even get into the game without being afraid. They need to go all out there and play the best that they can and enjoy the game. That's Taiwo talking to the Flying Eagles that they need to represent Nigeria. That's the same thing they did in 2005 and they were actually prolific. Of course, it is still Sport live on the screen. Let's go on a quick break. After this break, we'll return. I will bring you more story from the world of sport as we will take you all the way to Manchester United. Let's get to know what's happening. Is Osimhen actually going to Manchester United, or he's going to Arsenal, or he's going to Chelsea, or he's not going to England. Where is going to be his next destination? It is all speculation, but then we'll give you some details according to what the papers are saying and what football stars, including Osimhen himself, have said concerning his transfer. We will return for those details after this break. Stay with us. Welcome back. They see Talksport Live on your screen on Global Television. Remember that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and of course Star Times channel 276. In case you're watching online on YouTube right now or Facebook, you can actually watch from the comfort of your home anytime, any day. Now, I want to bring in my guest who has been standing by. It's good to have you join us, Mendy.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right. Well, before now, we actually talked about the fact that Nigerians NFF now are frowning at what the referee always do, and they said you will get 10 years ban if any referee is being found wanting, as it has to do with corruption, maybe any form of negative thing, any form of malpractice. You know, they do malpractice too. What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, it's a good step in the right direction. Personally, I've been waiting for this, this kind of decision for a very long time, because I mean, when you look at the way referees behave in the Nigerian league at times, it's kind of embarrassing compared to even smaller African nations, talk more of Europe. So it's a good one in the right direction. I think these referees deserve to be put in check. And I'm so happy. And kudos to the management of the NPFL, because this will improve the league. I can't hear.
Yes, of course. I was talking about the fact that Taye Taiwo have actually asked the Flying Eagles to be very, very confident and, of course, are fearless in their game, working as a team, so that they can come out prolific and very, very powerful during the African Cup of Nations. What do you think about that? Remember that advice is coming from Taye Taiwo.
Well, I think it's encouraging when you hear legends of the game, give advice to young ones like this. Yes, he has said it all. Of course, they have to take every game seriously, and they have to prepare themselves. They have to believe in themselves, just like he said, to win the Under-20 AFCON. It's a good one, and I really would love to see ex-footballers, ex-Super Eagles stars come out to show support and give words of encouragement to the junior teams, because most of these players look up to these stars, and of course, if they can just reach out, just like Taye Taiwo is doing, I believe it will boost the morale of the players and, of course, make them perform well on the pitch, because people of this caliber, legends like this, are counting on you, and I think it is a very encouraging thing to do from Taye Taiwo.
Let's talk about Victor Osimhen now. English Premier League side Manchester United are said not to have Nigerian striker Victor Osimhen on their super target for the summer. The list due to EAPL's profit and sustainability rules. According to the information reaching us in the media, the PSR was introduced in 2015-16 to prevent clubs from overspending. It also permits clubs to lose no more than £105 million in every 3-year cycle. And the rule began to bite last season when Everton were handed a 10 points deduction for excess spending late last year, although it was reduced to 6 points on appeal in United's case. So Osimhen looks like a perfect fit to solve the goal scoring problem in Manchester United, but their major target, Matheus Cunha of Wolverhampton Wanderer, whom they are willing to register or maybe use in triggering his 62.5 million euro release clause. According to United News, Osimhen were the deal partner for Cunha. United will pay 51 million euro for the on-loan striker, but his wage demand could prevent the club from completing a summer deal, meaning they would also need to reduce their wage bill to afford a player like Osimhen. What do you think about that? Manchester United, do they really deserve Victor Osimhen? Is that the best place for him to go?
Because of course Manchester has gone for them. You cannot change that. You're a top club. On their day, they are one of the best teams in Europe. And for him going there, of course, they can afford to pay him. And of course, the team is looking up. They can still win, go ahead and, win. But again, I'm a huge fan of the EPL PSR rules, because I really believe some clubs do overspend sometimes. And these rules like this, keep the so-called big teams in check. But again, Victor Osimhen, he's just like when I was last on the show, I said this fellow can play anywhere and still score goals. So it might not be Manchester United, it could be Manchester City, it could be Chelsea. They're serious on getting him, and he really deserves a big move. And it's not the end. Manchester United is just one of those clubs who can afford him. But due to the PSR rules, you could go elsewhere. I really want to see him in Chelsea as a Chelsea fan, because I believe that's what we need as a team. But he could go to Liverpool and still play. He could go to Arsenal and still score goals. That's the ability this fellow has. And wherever he goes, I know one thing, that Victor Osimhen is going to perform, and he's going to perform to the high level as he has always done.
Let me ask you, Mendy, he wanted going to Chelsea during that transfer window, but then so many things happened, and even our own legend Obi has actually been wanting him to go there. Talking about Mikel, who was also a player with Chelsea back then. But now Galatasaray renewed dream to keep Osimhen in Istanbul. That's Galatasaray, the club where he is playing right now, because Galatasaray have already taken a significant step forward in their ambitious bid to sign Victor Osimhen on a permanent deal, as Arsenal and Manchester United reportedly stepped away from the race for the prolific Nigerian striker. According to the information coming right now, Osimhen's match-winning performance and his growing influence on and off the pitch something that keen interest to secure the 26-year-old. But then, as it is right now, it is obvious that the club may not want to release him. As a matter of fact, let me inform you also that Galatasaray's hierarchy are unwilling to take any risk. According to Turkish publication, Galatasaray officials have already invited the Osimhen to a formal meeting set to take place in the coming days to discuss the terms of a potential long-term agreement determined to retain Osimhen's services. Galatasaray are preparing to offer a record salary package worth €10 million annually, in addition to a significant transfer fee. That's massive, man. But the Nigerian international currently has a 75 million euro release clause in his Napoli contract, which runs until summer of 2026. Galatasaray, should he continue in Galatasaray?
Personally, I'll say no. I mean, with all due respect to Galatasaray and the Turkish league, I believe a player like Victor Osimhen, with his potential and his age, shouldn't be playing at the Turkish league at this point. This fellow should be playing in the top four leagues of Europe. He's done well. I have nothing against the Turkish league, but I mean, when we have followed Victor Osimhen's development right from his under 17 days, I mean, come on, this fellow should be in the top four leagues of Europe, no doubt. Galatasaray, yes, the management has always shown that they want their team to compete. They want Galatasaray to go find the Champions League and all that, but they're not there yet. And Victor Osimhen should be playing for a team that is world class, because he's a world class player. They have shown that they want to retain him. The salary package looks good, but personally, I feel Osimhen should probably make a move to the Premier League, because he's a world class player, and a world class player deserves a world class league.
That's beautiful. Let's move a little bit from football right now, as Nigeria dominates African weightlifting championship. Team Nigeria is making a statement right now at the African Senior Weightlifting Championship in Mauritius, leading the medal tally with 10 gold, 4 silver and 1 bronze as the competition nears its conclusion. According to the information right now, Rafia Lawal and Didi Onome were standout performers, each winning 3 gold medals in their respective weight classes. Earlier in the day before, Ruth Ayodele added to the gold rush, winning 3 gold medals in the women's 64 kg category with a 213 kg total lift. Wow, that's massive for me. And of course, what would you have to say to our people, our girls?
Well, we're so proud of them, especially Rafia Lawal. She's in my opinion, one of the best powerlifting both men and women that I've ever seen. We saw her at the Commonwealth Games of 2022, where she won a gold. Now that tells you all you need to know about this lady, and it's encouraging for the country, because it still shows that we're not only good at football or basketball, we're still good at other sports. And I wish them all the best. And I really hope that they can build and go far in the upcoming Olympics, because it's been a long time Nigeria had an Olympic medal, with a gold medal in Olympics in weightlifting, and these 2 ladies to me are our best bets. And this is just the beginning of good things. I really think that they can achieve much more than this in the Olympics.
You just mentioned basketball just now. The Nigerian senior women's basketball team, the Tigers, have been drawn in Group D of the 2025 FIBA Women's Afro-Basketball, where they will face Mozambique and Rwanda in the group stage of the continent's premier women's basketball competition. Do you think these people can hold us? Mozambique and, of course, Rwanda.
No, they don't stand a chance. With all due respect to Mozambique and Rwanda, they play well, but come on, I mean, the Tigers have shown time and time again why they are the queens of African basketball, and I'm expecting, it to be a one-sided affair. Although Mozambique especially, the ladies are pretty good, but they're no match for the Tigers. I'm expecting, Wakama's side to brush aside these two teams. That's just my opinion on it. No disrespect to Mozambique or Rwanda, but they don't stand a chance.
I love that. Apart from being patriotic, they don't stand a chance. I believe they don't stand a chance too. Let's talk about sprinter a little bit. Nigerian sprinter and 2024 Paris Olympic women's 200-meter finalist, talking about Favour Ofili. You remember Favour Ofili, right? Has been listed for the second leg of the new Grand Slam track meet after missing the opener in Kingston, Jamaica. Grand Slam track is the global home of a professional track competition launched by four-time Olympic champions Michael Johnson. The second slam of its inaugural season, the Miami Slam, will also take place May 2nd to 4th at the Antin Sport Complex in Miramar, Florida. As a matter of fact, the organizers have cited injuries and unexpected circumstances when Ofili was one of the 10 athletes who opted out of the first leg of the meet. Ahead of the second leg, Ofili and other racers and challengers are announced on Thursday that they will perform very well. Ofili, of course, what are you expecting from Ofili?
Well, I'm just expecting her to look, since the last Olympics, she has been every Nigerian's sweetheart. Who that followed the Olympics step to step, saw how she made the country proud, and I'm expecting her just to carry the whole Nigeria on her shoulders and just show what she's made of. Although it's not going to be easy to win, but I'm expecting her to do well. And when she should be motivated by her performance at the last Olympics, because the whole country she carries the whole country on her shoulders when she's racing. When she's going to be racing at the Michael Johnson Arena. I'm expecting her, to do well. But again, if she doesn't win, if she doesn't get first, second, or third, it's understandably so, because there are a lot of world-class sprinters that are going to be performing. But I hope she does well. I really do, because she's a world-class sprinter.
Can we go forward a little bit? As a matter of fact, let's look at what Paris Saint-Germain boss Luis Enrique has said. According to the information right here, Paris Saint-Germain's boss Luis Enrique has delivered an honest Arsenal verdict before their Champions League semi-final. The first leg at Emirates Stadium next Tuesday, the French champions travel to North London on Tuesday with Mikel Arteta's side visiting the Parc des Princes for the second leg in 13 days' time. Barcelona and Inter Milan, as we speak right now, contest the other semi-final, with all four teams vying for a spot in the final at Allianz Arena. While the main focus is on Europe, Arsenal still having some Premier League games to play, with one of those against Crystal Palace brought forward due to the FA Cup involvement contested Wednesday night. It was exactly the best preparation as the game ended 2-2, but they do not have an extra 48 hours over PSG for rest and recovery. My God. And that is because Enrique's side take on Nice in League One action. That's going to be happening today, with the 54-year-old 33-year-old holding his press conference before that game on Thursday, and the topic of Arsenal was unsurprisingly brought up. What do you think of that game and, of course, that experience?
Well, I mean, if it was a year ago or 2 years ago, we would have said PSG are going to be favored. But I mean, what a job Mikel Arteta has done, how he has transformed this Arsenal side. This is the best in a very long time. And of course, PSG should be worried. I mean, we saw when both teams played in the group stage, we saw how it went. I mean, Luis Enrique, well, I'll say it's just mind games. Of course, he's thinking about us. I'm very sure that is number one. I mean, that is number one, the number one thing on his mind. I mean, the big one is already sealed. So, I mean, what else will he be thinking about? What else would he be thinking about if it's not Arsenal, if it's not the Champions League? Of course, he's analyzing it. I'm very sure he's having trouble sleeping because of, look, Arsenal. I mean, if you watch how Arsenal played against Real Madrid, I mean, that tells you all that this team wants to win the Champions League for the very first time, just like PSG do. It's going to be a very interesting game. But personally, I really want Arsenal to qualify. But PSG are a very strong side also. They're a very, very strong side. And it's going to be a tough one. But I believe if Arsenal, just take away that fear and put in more effort, I believe they might win the game.
Hey, that's the Manchester United star might make a surprise transfer to Aston Villa. I'm talking about Kevin De Bruyne. As a matter of fact, Villa, and that's going to be this summer, according to the information coming to the media right now, the Midlands club is mulling the move for De Bruyne, who will be a free agent after the season, just like our own Olaina, who is going to be a free agent. Villa already reported to have already had internal conversation about signing the 33-year-old. Age is not really on his side. However, they will play MLS team such as Inter Miami, Chicago Fire, DC United, and NYCFC. What do you think? Is that the best place for him to go?
Well, I mean, if you look at what Unai Emery is doing at Aston Villa, you could say, why not? I mean, they're a team that has, passed all expectations. The man has turned them into, one of the best teams in the Premier League. We saw how impressive they were in the Champions League, So I think a player like De Bruyne, now, of course, he might look at it and say, why not? Why don't I join this project? This is a project which is ongoing. This is a project which is going well because of the world-class coach they have. And of course, I really wanted to stay in the Premier League. Although personally, sentiment, I would say, come back home.
Just hold your thought for a minute. We will return back, but then let's go on a quick break. We will return after this break, and of course, we'll continue with the rest of the sports show. Stay with us.
Do you know that Global Television can be watched in Nigeria and all over the world?
Download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to watch Global Television real-time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to Global Television.
Well, it's good to have you back. I was just gyrating. I was gyrating all through that break. You know why? Because so many things happening from the water sport. I know that Atletico Madrid cruised to a 3-0 La Liga win over Rayo Vallecano yesterday as they bounced back from defeat at Las Palmas last weekend. Liberty's boast of their Champions League ambition again. Well, and that's so interesting for me. I'm so excited for them. But as it is right now, the visitors' long-expected relegation, Atletico have little to play for in the rest of the season, with leaders Barcelona at 10 points are clear with 5 matches remaining, but produce a solid derby. Our time is almost up. Do we have you right there? Are you there, Mendy?
Yes, I'm there. Yes, I'm there.
What would you have to say about that game yesterday?
Well, I mean, it's expected. Valladolid, they don't stand any chance against Atletico. I think they just spot their frustration on Valladolid. The fact that, they are no longer in the La Liga title race, they're no longer the champions, they're not going to win the Copa del Rey. So, Atletico, on a very good day, Atletico Madrid is head and shoulders above Vallecano. So it was expected.
Waiting for their party. Liverpool brace for Premier League title party. They are already set for the party. Liverpool have just one hand on the Premier League trophy as they seek to solitary points they need against struggling Tottenham on Sunday. That will guarantee a record equaling 20th English title. My God. What are you thinking right now, Mendy, before we call it a wrap on the show?
Well, I'm happy for them. I'm happy for them. Of course, I'm so happy the fact that it's not Manchester City again. But just like I said the last time I was on the show, I'm a bit disappointed that they ran away with the trophy. I was expecting a very close title race, but Arne Slot has just come in and ran over everybody. I'm so happy they're going to win this title because it's not Manchester City. That's just. And of course they're going to win Tottenham. Ange Postecoglou's side have been very poor, very, very poor this season, and I really hope that next season will be tougher than this. But again, congratulations to Liverpool. They really do deserve this title.
I thought you wanted to say next season we are expecting Chelsea to win the Champions League, or the Premier League rather, the Premier League.
Well, I wouldn't put my money on Chelsea, to be honest. I'm a Chelsea fan, but for Chelsea to win the next season's Premier League, they have to sit up. They have to really, really sit up and change a lot of things. But again, as a Chelsea fan, I really hope that happens because it's been a very long time since we last became champions of England.
Snakes swallow elephants. Chelsea will not win the Premier League. All right, so that's by the way. Well, that's a very good thank you to you right there. But then Hansi Flick, Barcelona are closing in a potential quadruple this season, but blocking their path eternal rivals Real Madrid. I'm talking about Barcelona out to prove classical superiority in Copa del Rey final. On the final note, just 1 minute. How would you address that?
Well, Barcelona Hansi Flick, of course, it's not surprising. It's a world-class coach. We saw him at Bayern Munich, what he did with them, and he's come to Barcelona and just bring them back to European supremacy. 2 things are involved here. Barcelona would want to win the treble. They will want to win the treble by winning, because as it stands now, La Liga is already in the bag. They might be in the semi-final of the Champions League, and they want to win Real Madrid to prove superiority again. But again, Real Madrid, I know Carlo Ancelotti's job is on the line. Real Madrid, legacy is on the line. Should they lose it, they will go trophyless this season. So it's going to be a very tough game. It's going to be a really tough game. I'm really looking forward to this game because I know this is going to be the best Copa del Rey final that we're going to watch in a very long time.
Thank you very much. Kane also, Harry Kane, hopes to silence his doubters as Bayern title looms. Well, we won't be able to discuss all of that because of time anymore. A very big thank you to you, Mehdi, for joining us on TalkSport today.
Thank you for having me, Andy.
All right. This is going to be the size of TalkSport for this morning. We'll come on your way again for another beautiful edition of TalkSport. Have a beautiful day, and of course, we wish all of you the best. Liverpool fans, just get ready for your party. All right, Barcelona. All right, the flick. Well, I don't want to say much about that, but then let's see what's going to happen. But all the same, Victor Osimhen, whether you are living in Galatasaray, be careful where you are going to. But then the way they are celebrating you in Galatasaray, I'm just wondering whether or not you should be. But then the decision is all yours, my brother. All right, I'm taking a bow right now. But then don't forget that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276, and you can also download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app on iOS and Android devices to keep track of all our broadcasts. 247, we are right there to serve you, to make you great, and to make your day and timing beautiful and worth it. Bye-bye for now. My name is Ramsey Enoch.